Hello, Rockin' Writers. You are rock stars. You have been writing amazing stories about yourselves. We have enjoyed reading them and getting to know you better. But there is more to writing than just stories. Why do writers write? Let's look at the poster for some reasons to explain why we would want to write, because I know there are still some friends who don't really like to write. And my job, our job as teachers, is to help you learn to love to write and to see a real purpose as to why we write. So, boys and girls, we're going to be looking at other ways to write this week to communicate. In other words, to exchange ideas, share information with each other. In fact, it might not be me that you're writing to, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. You've been writing stories to share your experiences, to tell about important events or times that things have happened to you. We can also write to ask questions, to persuade or try to convince others to think or feel the way that we do. We want to say something, we have something to say, so we want to write. But there are different ways to write, and we'll talk about that as well. We can share our feelings through writing, we can teach others what we know. And so this week, we are going to take a look at different ways to write. Writers do write more than just stories. So, what do writers write? Stories, poems, letters, lists, thank you notes, reminders, emails, journal entries, notes, important thoughts. Boys and girls, this is just the tip of the iceberg, just the beginning of a list of what writers write. This week, we're going to talk about notes, lists, and cards. Every rock star musician needs an audience to play for. An audience is who you are singing to. There's all the people out here in the audience singing along, cheering, and clapping for this musician. He or she is definitely a rock star. Every rock star needs to know what song they're going to play or sing. So they don't just hop up on stage, most likely, and just start playing. They probably already have it figured out. Every rock star writer needs an audience too. The audience is who you are writing to. Every rock star writer needs to know what kind of writing they are going to use. Before you write today, so if you haven't done this already, I want you to pause the video and find the writing room in Schoology. In the writing room, I want you to find the story Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. You know Farmer Brown and his farm animals from Click, Clack, Boo last week. This week, the story talks and shares information between the farmer and his farm animals, and they write back and forth to one another. And they do this by writing notes. For example, in the very beginning of the story, the cows write Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. They leave this note for Farmer Brown, but the cows don't get that electric blanket to keep them warm. So when Farmer Brown gets to the barn the next day, there's a note waiting for him that says, "Sorry, we're closed. No milk today." So as time went on, even the hens got cold. So the cows wrote Farmer Brown another note that said, "Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold today, or cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows." Well, the cows and the hens did not get an electric blanket from Farmer Brown. So the hens left Farmer Brown a note when he got to the barn the next day, and it said, "Closed. No milk, no eggs." Hmm. You'll have to read the rest of the story to find out what happens. So if you have not read the story Click Clack Moo, stop the video, go ahead to the writing room, not the book room, and read the story to find out how the farm animals communicate or talk with Farmer Brown by using and writing notes. Okay, welcome back if you are back. Welcome again if you are still here with me. But boys and girls, we can write notes too. Boy, my tongue is tied today in knots, but here I am, and I'm happy to be with you and so excited about writing notes. You might have some Post-it notes that you were given at the last remote pickup. You might have a little notebook that looks like this with a spiral at the top and paper inside. Whatever you have is what you're going to use for writing today. I can write a note. So remember, we need an audience. Who can we write to? Well, we could write to our mom, our dad, brother, sister, grandparents, friend, myself. I can write to myself? Oh, yes. In fact, I think I write to myself more than I write to anyone else. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So, what do I write on this note? Well, you could say something nice. You could write something to remember. You could surprise someone. And when you write a note, you're going to write words or sentences to say or tell what you are thinking. So that means that you might not be writing a complete sentence. You might just be writing a couple of words. We'll talk about that too as I share some examples with you. Here are some examples of notes. On the left, you'll see an example of a note that reads, "Went to store. Be back at 7 o'clock." You'll notice that's in grown-up writing with some shortcuts, but that's what a note would sound like. You can even see Post-it notes over here. This is what my desk looks like by the end of the day, because when I want to remember something, I write it down so that I don't forget, and I can do it later. There's a Post-it right there that stands out to me. It says, "Call mom." Maybe you have a grown-up at your house who writes notes, and maybe you see notes that they leave around the house. Maybe they're for themselves, maybe they're for others, and maybe you've already written notes. So today you're going to show what you know about how to write a note. I do first, and then you do. So right now I'm going to show you 3 examples of notes that I can write. And then you, on your own, when we are finished with the video, will show me 3 examples of notes that you can write before you give them away. That will be your writing assignment today. So what does that look like? Let's take a look. Here on the screen, you should see 3 notes. Okay, and again, if you don't have the Post-it notes, you are writing in a mini notebook. Looks like this. I think I'm going to write a note to Mr. Baker today. And I think I'm going to put it on the steering wheel of his car so that he sees it when he gets in his car to go to work tomorrow. I think this note might make him feel really happy and special. So I'm going to write it to Mr. Baker, and I think I'm going to say, "Have a good day." So on my own, I'm going to tap and spell the words. I hear an H, a, v, have, oh, I know that word. Have a good, g, g, d, d, a, day. Have a good day. Now, you might know how to spell the word day, and that's great. But if you don't, remember the important part about writing is that you're tapping the sounds and you're writing the letters for the sounds that you hear. I'm going to put an exclamation mark there because I really hope he does have a good day. And I'm going to draw a heart. That means love. And I'm going to write the letter M because that's the first letter of my first name, Michelle. And when he sees that letter M, he'll know who it's from. So have a good day. Love, M. I'm going to put that on my husband's steering wheel later on tonight when I know he's not going to drive his car again. I think I'm going to write another note to my son. And because I know I'm going to go into school and I know he sleeps in, when he wakes up, I'm going to put this note on his bedroom door so he can see it, so he knows where I am and what to do. So I'm going to write this note to my son. Went to school. Call when you wake up. XOXO, mom. So I'm going to leave that on his bedroom door so he knows where I am before he realizes nobody is home. And then My third note that I'm going to write is to myself because I noticed that when I went to the refrigerator this morning, I couldn't have cereal because there was no milk. So I want to remember to get milk. So I'm going to write a note that says, remember to get milk. And I'm not even going to sign this because I'm just going to place this note on my refrigerator so that when I walk past it or when I'm upstairs getting ready to cook dinner, the note will remind me that I need to get to the store to get some milk. So boys and girls, these are 3 examples of notes that I could write. These are 3 examples of people that I could write my notes to. And remember, I can write them on Post-it notes or I can write them on note paper. So your job today is to write 3 notes. Could be surprises. It could be to the same people. It could be to different people. And then when you write these 3 notes, take a picture of them. Send them to us. Send them to your teacher so that we can see what you were thinking. And then after you submit your writing assignment for today, you go ahead and deliver these notes to the people that you're writing them to, or put them in places where you want people to find them. Maybe you'll put a note under your parents' pillow and they'll see it when they go to bed tonight. And maybe your note says, "Thank you for always taking good care of me." You have to decide what you want to say and who you want to say it to. So we hope that you have fun today writing notes. You can write more than 3 notes. You can write as many as you want because remember, writing is more than just writing stories. Writing is fun. Go ahead, rock stars. Rock it out. Have fun with writing notes today.